Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 Probots 1 vs 1 replay cast. We have got ourselves in the top left. It's VeTerran, actually known as VeTerran, I believe. So, VeTerran, a bot I've cast before, a bot that is always entertaining to watch from the games that I've seen. And taking on VeTerran in the bottom right, it's gonna be the bot, which I'm honestly always afraid to cast because we know how it plays. It's KetrocBot. KetrocBot, the turtle bot, which is just a menace to commentators, to players. Yeah, Ketroc plays. Ketroc and KetrocBot play the down and dirty style of basically of just turtling up with ravens, planetary fortresses, maybe some tanks, but basically that's it. And so we're gonna see if VeTerran is gonna fall victim, if VeTerran's gonna fall victim to KetrocBot's strategy, because Ketroc's strategy is of course one of the ones which basically just defends, and if your bot doesn't have what it takes to win one fight, it's probably not gonna win any other fight. It's basically that if the bot has the formula down to crack one of KetrocBot's defensive positions, then your bot can probably win. But if not, you're gonna have yourself a bad time, and your bot might just rally endless amounts of units to their death until it eventually runs out of resources. We'll see if that's gonna be the case or not this game. We have got, just a standard expo from KetrocBot. Seems pretty normal. Bunker gonna be getting up at the front. Full wall up at the top of the ramp on light fade, which shows that Ketroc has put some behavior into his bot. I imagine he pre-programs this per map, you'd assume, for the bot. I don't think that you could possibly make a bot that basically goes ahead and says, yeah, sure, let's make sure I wall off the high ground. I guess in theory, maybe you could, but I doubt it. So Ketroc probably just set ideal positions to build the first set of structures. I presume on map, maybe. Who knows? Those are good questions to ask, and this is why I really need to interview some bot makers at some point. But in the meantime, before that happens, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go ahead and slap that like button. Let's try and hit 39 likes on this video, because that's how hot it's supposed to be tomorrow where I live. Some places it might be hotter, some places it might be colder, but yeah, let's do it. Let's go for 39 likes. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, join the bell gang, consider becoming a member, all that jazz. We have got VeTerran showing its behavior about engaging something like a bunker, which so far is good. The fact that it's not just rallying these Reapers to death in the bunker. They realize that that's a significant threat. Yeah. We'll see if at some point VeTerran does the math to basically say, yeah, I can handle that. But of course, that's never easy to do when it comes to fighting a structure that can be repaired, such as a bunker or a planetary fortress. One of the Reapers actually eats a shot there. A little bit of derpage, just a subtle reminder that there is Marines in those bunkers. KetrocBot now going into double starports behind this. And VeTerran, yeah, just getting up its own expo. Rather later than KetrocBot, so I'd say KetrocBot is doing pretty good at this point. Higher SCV count. Basically getting away with what it wants. Actually triple starport on the way, which is kind of nuts. Just going ham on that gas mining. Okay, now we've got a Widow Mine on the way here for VeTerran. Command Center finishing up. Raven has popped out. Probably the first of many. That one actually belongs to the Red Terran. KetrocBot does make a lot of Banshees, so one Banshee on the way. We'll see what else is going to come next. A scan does reveal the Command Center, reveals the couple of starports. We'll see if that's going to cause a reaction from VT. VT? That's not a bad abbreviation for VeTerran. Yeah. The question really is how well will VT be able to deal with what KetrocBot's going for. There's going to be a lot of idle time in this game, so I might fast forward at some point. But yeah, for now we take a look here. There's just a couple of Ravens on the way for KetrocBot. Third command center on the way, and we actually do have a move out now. KetrocBot salvaged its bunker, interestingly enough, pulled those Marines back, and it's just going to be relying on the planetary for defense, so just a little bit of min-maxing there from KetrocBot, rather cute. We're going to be seeing an actual bit of an engagement, though, before getting in range of the planetary, which isn't really great for KetrocBot. KetrocBot lost all of its Marines. This one Banshee is still harassing. Auto turret is actually going to work away on the tank. Now, that's a big deal, as, of course, the tank dying means that the planetary fortress won't be sieged at all by VT. The Banshee also being microed well by KetrocBot. The Marines having a hard time getting in range of it. Reaper's tossing down the grenades, but of course still trying to stay out of range of the planetary. These units know they can't engage that. KetrocBot has also been constant with tossing out the auto turrets. Looks like a couple STVs are getting cut down as KetrocBot is trying to secure an expansion while this goes on, sacrificing some STVs to try and make that base happen. And so far just bleeding off a lot of units doing so. Yeah, KetrocBot continuously trying to get up those refineries, trying to get up those turrets. The Banshee still being a pain, but yeah, losing lots of units here. This planetary fortress might not finish up. Auto turrets even being used by VT. Interestingly enough, it throws out 2, but saves energy for 1 more. The Marines for VT continuously getting upgraded here. KetrocBot is trying to push out and secure this location up. SCVs are getting down towards the TF, though it very well may be secured now by VT or by Ketroc, and that's actually quite a bummer for VT that SCVs are able to repair this base. I did want to find out what happens if KetrocBot is cut off from a base for a significant amount of time. Basically, if there's a kill to abandon that or to try and secure up another base, depending, because I figure if there is a bot that's got that behavior, it's probably KetrocBot. For now, though, KetrocBot was able to secure up its primo 3rd base. All the while, VT is still on 2, producing what it can, but it's already in that rough spot, which it might just start bleeding off units against KetrocBot. Resources lost so far is fairly even. It's really just been those SCVs that have died for KetrocBot, so aside from those SCVs and Marines kind of just rallying themselves to their death, KetrocBot is absurdly efficient. Auto turrets getting spammed on down, gonna slaughter that tank, and yeah, this is looking rather rough for VT. Not being able to advance at all, KetrocBot has reached quite a count of Ravens that's going to be able to spam them down for days. Presumably at some point we'll even see building armor on the way, and it's actually on the way to speak to the devil. And then maybe high-tech auto-tracking to help these out at some point after that. But yeah, VT is just not going to be able to engage this army, I feel, anyway. But from the synopsis of this game, apparently Thors were involved, and there is a Thor on the way now. And that's part of the reason why I was interested to see how good is Thor's AA against a bot like Ketroc. VT still being pushed back. Tanks on the way. Thor is done, and it immediately switched to high-sec auto-track for the high-impact payload mode, I believe. Yeah, VT though still having a tough time engaging those auto turrets, but that's really just losing efficiency the more and more of those that are taken care of. At least VT does have a massive unit that's able to target those down pretty darn quick and not bleed off too many units to them. The Thor is crossing the map now. The Thor with its high AA very well may do well against KetrocBot. KetrocBot spamming down turrets non-stop. VT stepping forward. The Raven is the Thor is now in the party, as we see. Gonna work away on that refinery for starters. Of course, the KetrocBot gonna try and repair that. The Marines are actually going on in now, attempting to break this location. That seems a little bit premature for VT, as yeah, there's just not that many Marines to break this location. And as we see, the PF is blowing Marines away. It's looking real rough here for VT, just throwing these units away. The Thor, of course, is doing a good job zoning. We see the planetary fortress with its fixed range can actually be zoned out by the planetary fortress by the Thor, actually, pardon me, before the high-sec auto-tracking is done. But once the high-sec auto-tracking is done, the Thor will be challenged by that planetary fortress, in which it is a battle that it will lose. Tank as well, though, getting set up by VT, helping shelling away on this base. This is eating through KetrocBot's resources. at least, but more units coming forward are not going to be successful. The Marines really not helping out at all too much here. But then we see KetrocBot having a real tough time dealing with this Thor, it would seem. The Ravens are trying to get a flank on this, and their behavior tells them to stay away from the AA of the Thor. But as we see, that's basically just preventing Ketroc from really defending himself here. Auto turrets do get tossed down in front of these tanks. The one Thor is getting close to going down. It actually gets pulled back by VT though, and it looks like it's getting a hot load back to, yeah, getting a hot trip back home. I get the feeling though that this is going to let KetrocBot completely negate the push here of VT though. And of course, while this is going on, KetrocBot has been securing up more and more bases, getting up to a 5th. Looks like a 6th, maybe floating over. And the auto turret spam is just so darn good, but it looks like we may have a bit of a crux for KetrocBot, and that could be the Thors, potentially. The Thors have already got their +1 armor on the way. We'll see if there's going to be ship, or I mean, higher attack for those Thors or anything. It looks like +1 is about to finish up. +2 could be on the way, or armor could be useful, but really, unless the Thors for VT are able to just start picking off Ketroc's units like mad, I do not have a lot of hope. Looks like another Thor is coming forward though, and it will be doing that zoning thing again. The PF does have high-sec auto-tracking now, so it does actually engage this Thor. So the Thor will be getting bullied here. Vikings are out as well for VT, which will help pick off some of those Ravens potentially. I imagine KetrocBot has behavior to pull back the injured one, so look at that. Auto turrets just slaughtering everything there as KetrocBot spams them down en masse. See a Thor coming forward now. Can still zone out units as long as it's out of the way of the AA. Looks like the Thor does get pulled back by VT, so we are seeing some repeat behavior as that Thor gets pulled back to be repaired. And that means, in theory, VT may start building up a higher Thor count, even throwing down a 3rd factory while this is going on. A battlecruiser's on the way out too. I'm not sure how useful that's going to be. Another Thor is on the way home as well. They get to a certain point of injury, then they get retreated. Interesting how the developer of VeTerran elected to add that behavior in, just sort of as a cute feature there of the bot. 2 Thors are actually coming forward now. Lots of auto turrets are going to slaughter the Marines on the front line. Poor Marines. It's a hard life. The Thors, though, ever posing a threat, and as I said before, in theory, their numbers are going to continue to expand. To the point which they may be able to eventually start breaking planetary fortresses. Looks like one's going to get the evacuation while this is going on, though. The second one forcing continuous repair, but will now be pushed back. I just feel so bad for this battlecruiser. The Thors are doing okay, guys, but the battlecruiser I don't think is doing too well. Ketroc says, wake up our Viking bot. Enemy is getting flyers. The BC can try, but I think the BC will not do too well. I imagine it's going to have similar retreat behavior to the Thor. Whether it'll actually escape, that is unknown to me. Yeah, it's gonna try and get away, but Vikings in pursuit means it might be having it a bit rough. KetrocBot also keeping the losses to a minimum. The actual only air units lost is 1 Raven, 1 Viking, and 2 Banshees. That's nothing. Thors are just constantly walking back and forth now, but as that number continues to grow for VT, that's quite significant. Also, a random Widow Mine as well as hanging out for VT. I'm not sure what that's about. I guess to try and deal with Raven or Banshee harassment. I'm not sure. KetrocBot also just securing up all the locations, dropping mules for days as it spams down CCs and such. Thor's moving forward for VT. In theory, yeah, their numbers may grow enough to which the Thors are capable of engaging these planetaries and cracking them, particularly as their upgrades get going. They've got +2 armor, +2 attack on the way, and there we go, 3 Thors now working on a planetary. It is being repaired though, so I presume it will stay alive. Ravens for KetrocBot kind of derping out a lot, but it's interesting to see how something simple as just a Thor retreat mechanic and just making Thors in general is posing more of a threat to KetrocBot than we've ever really seen anything do. Or I should say more of a threat to KetrocBot in the late game. And I know Ketroc's a smart guy, so I presume he's already working on a fix for it or something, if he did end up losing this game at all. We see Thors still just doing their thing, picking off SCVs whilst this is going on. KetrocBot likes to keep up a high SCV count. It's producing more, but it is losing them as it rallies them around. Thor's got to be careful about engaging auto turrets, but I'm not concerned as they could be retreating. We check a total Thor count. We're at 7 right now as they keep forcing these battles. A Yamato cannon even getting used by VT. That's quite significant. That's a guaranteed kill on a unit. That doesn't often happen to KetrocBot units, as he's so good at keeping them alive. The Vikings, though, just getting zoned away by the Thors, and yeah, the Thor's massive anti-air really showing its strength here. Yeah, this is quite something by KetrocBot. Planetary Fortress being worked on. It could potentially go down here. Thor's now +2 attack, so they're really going to pack a punch. This one's actually getting close to going down, but does stay alive. So far, I don't believe a single Thor has perished. No, they haven't, and that is just great for VT. We see this base in the bottom left has been identified. Thors are still getting shuttled back by that medivac pool behavior. The medivac, there's one medivac out on the map, and the medivacs have died. 3 medivacs have died, but they clearly have been replaced along the way to the extent that there's just one to shuttle the Thors. And now we see all of a sudden 4 Thors are enough to crack a planetary, particularly that VT is targeting down SCVs periodically. This base will end up falling. KetrocBot does not have a large resource surplus. This planetary is being worked on by this battle cruiser. A Yamato cannon is going to hit that turret. The turret will be repaired though. Ravens coming around to try and handle that. But still, yeah, these Thors really posing a threat to KetrocBot. Maybe KetrocBot needs to add more tanks or something next to the planetaries in order to solve this. That would come to my mind. Tanks, pardon me, outrange the Thors. But that is quite something, and KetrocBot continuously producing SCVs, continuously producing Ravens, but starting to lose efficiency as this game goes on. Ravens getting picked off by the Thors. We've currently seen 3 go down. I feel like that number is just going to increase. Some of those units are kind of caught out on the map here. And now we see the Thors for VT are starting to push on in towards the main base of Ketroc. The constant stream of SCVs that KetrocBot dumps its money into seems to be a weak point here, as we've witnessed 146 go down. And yeah, this looks like that KetrocBot could actually have a weakness later on in the game, or something that he needs to address. The mass Thor just seems to work for VT. I don't know the behavior for VT, if it says, oh, I'm not losing Thors, let's keep making Thors, or if it's just a fluke that everything else keeps dying and gradually the ratio of Thors is going up. That's most likely my bet. But still, that's quite something, the fact that these Thors are just doing so much work. The natural base has been cleaned out as we saw so far. VT has not gone to the main base, but is still getting some great pickoff. Resources lost is now ahead for VT. So even though it looks like KetrocBot has secured more bases this entire game, VT might be the one to win out. There's 3-3 on the way now for these Thors. That's going to benefit them tremendously as they just deal so much damage. KetrocBot loses its eBay, loses its ability to make really anything that will help it here. Planetary Fortresses notably. And yeah, just producing Ravens isn't going to cut it. Maybe it needs to make battle cruisers or something else. This base is being threatened now by siege tanks. Keep in mind they're +2, so they pack a bit of a punch, and they'll be +3. And yeah, the styling. VT is even securing up bases over on Ketroc's side of the map. Battle cruisers also being kept alive. Notably, only 1 BC has died that belongs to VT. 1 BC, no Thors. So that is really cool to see. VT does just seem to like having just the 1 battle cruiser though, which is notable, I guess. Anyway, yeah, I think KetrocBot is done for. There's no way that it's going to be able to engage these Thors in a fight. Ravens are good guys. 47 Ravens is even better. But the Thor's AA these days is just so darn good. And all the infrastructure for KetrocBot is gone. I would be very surprised if KetrocBot can win this unless it decides to go for some sort of kamikaze attack as it loses too much supply. The Ravens for KetrocBot are even kind of derping out a bit. Just over here, they seem unsure of what to do. Probably based on the fact that they're surrounded by enemy units. The main base is compromised. Yeah. Quite interesting here. Ravens moving around. No turrets being dropped or anything. I was wondering if there was behavior for KetrocBot to basically say, alright, I'm getting my butt kicked here, so let's just kamikaze and spam turrets down. Sort of like a reckless abandon for the Ravens or whatever, but seems to be no behavior for that. And they might just derp out till the end And yeah, KetrocBot just losing more and more. Constantly streaming out the SCVs. That does seem to be a weak point for this bot. A notable fix that I could think of when it comes to KetrocBot rallying out SCVs. Of course, it's definitely not an easy thing to do to program that logic, but I suppose one thing that KetrocBot could do would be to try and have SCVs focus on saturating one base, and basically if, say, an SCV dies from one command center 3 times in transit, then set it so that it stops attempting to send them to that base from that command center for a time or something, and then it would eventually saturate the bases from other sources, such as the base that it's actually next to. Yeah. It's like these Ravens might have eaten a mine shot or something, but they're just not doing well. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this one was actually pretty interesting to watch. The masked Thor doing good, doing the Lord's work. Make sure to hit that like button. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Join the Discord. Consider becoming a member if you do want to financially support the channel. Much love to KetrocBot. Well done by VT for having an answer to it, it seems, whether that be intentional or not. Pick off yet another base. And yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in as we watch these Ravens derp on out and not deal with a Widow Mine. And panic! Oh no, they actually eat mine shots at the end there and die. Oh, that was gnarly. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.